Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin. She's co-sponsor of the Connected Vehicle Security Act, and it's great to have you on, Senator. Maybe you've been on before. I don't recall, but thank you for joining us this morning. It's good to see you. Not everyone, I think, understands your concerns here. This is not really about thwarting Chinese competition in the automobile market. You're from Michigan, obviously. This truly is about personal data not falling into the hands of the CCP.
Yeah, well, it's both. I mean, it's an economic security issue, of course, but it also is a national security issue. I'm a former CIA officer and Pentagon official. And, you know, if you imagine these vehicles coming over with what we know are great collection capabilities, 3D mapping, you know, full motion video, geolocation of the driver, the ability to be hacked through a Bluetooth device and remotely piloted from Beijing. So separate from the fact that they, you know, purposely lower the price, subsidize the price, and try and undercut industries like the auto industry in the United States, it's also just a giant, you know, surveillance vehicle on wheels, sending all that data back to China. And I have a problem with that. So myself and Senator Bernie Moreno, Republican from Ohio, put together this bill ahead of the summit so that when the president and his advisors go in, you know, they're not so desperate to make a deal that they give away the farm and really kind of end the auto industry and let in this national security threat.
What if the cars were manufactured here?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of discussion about this right now. You know, I think we left open in the bill the potential for some limited joint ventures, as long as the Chinese are like 15% of the joint venture. I think where it gets really confusing and problematic is like if they're building these things in the United States, but the data on our military bases, our infrastructure sites, again, that personal data is being sent back to Beijing, I still have a problem with it. And while American cars collect just as much data, right, we have very modern cars as well, the American companies are allied companies, so think about the Japanese, the Koreans, who we've worked with for years. They're subject to American law, and we haven't seen the Chinese be subject to American law when they take that data and use it for negative purposes.
Well, you made the point that it's not just about security, that obviously it is about competition as well. And they do have cheaper EVs. There is, you know, Democrats talk about affordability every day. You're keeping cheaper cars, or this would keep cheaper, probably pretty good quality cars. If it's anything like what we've seen in Japan and Korea, they make great cars at this point in the Far East.
Yeah, and a lot of Americans have seen them in places like Europe, you know, as the Uber car that comes to get you. I think people just need to understand, and you all know this, that the Chinese have a strategy when it comes to certain types of technology. They steal the IP, the intellectual property, they reverse engineer it, they build it at scale, and then they heavily subsidize it so that it undercuts every other, you know, car on the market. They do this with drones, too, by the way. They come into a market and they absolutely demolish all the other producers. This is going on in Germany right now. Ask the Volkswagen folks. And it's the death knell for that industry. Then they have, you know, the stranglehold over that market. Then they can jack up the price, push everyone out. So I just think we need to be aware. We literally see them do this with drones to the point where we don't have real American producers of big drones at scale because the strategy has worked for them. So obviously, as Michigan Senator, I'm not going to go down without a fight on that. And I think for both the economic and national security reasons, this shouldn't be a giveaway at the summit this week.
Can we just switch to AI quickly?
Sure.
You've been involved with some possible legislation there as well. What do we need? How do we need to approach this in your view?
Yeah, well, actually, I hope that the president goes into the summit this week and has, you know, kind of the beginnings of a conversation a la arms control on the issue of artificial intelligence. We know it's here. We know it's new. We know it's supercharging things like cyber attacks. And we know that it's going to be used more and more in our military. The bill that I put together just said, hey, let's decide as a country, as a sort of family of nations, that there should always be a human being on the loop when you're making decisions of life and death. We should always have nuclear weapons. You know, if we're going to ever God forbid, deploy a nuclear weapon, we should have a human being making that decision, not leaving it up to machines. And that's the way it's going with this kind of classified AI race that's going on between us and China right now. So I put down a marker on the national security space. But look, we're seeing AI in the medical profession or in the Veterans Affairs administrations. I don't want a veteran being denied benefits because a machine looked at the paperwork and made the decision without a human being overseeing that. So those are the kinds of conversations that I wish we were having in this summit. I hope we're having in this summit, or at least starting.
How would you advise the Trump administration to go forward with what's happening in Iran at this point?
Yeah, there's so much to be talking about with the Chinese. They're obviously a competitor in the military space. They are an adversary, and we'd have plenty to talk about. But at this point, we're going in a little bit on our heels because the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, isn't open. And now, I'm hearing a lot of things around Washington that the president is going to have to ask the Chinese for their help resolving what's going on with Iran. That doesn't put us in a strong position. That means we need something from them, and they're going to extract more things from us. So I think, obviously, the Chinese are hurting as well. The whole world is hurting. The whole global economy is hurting because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And I think it's just unfortunate that on the board, the things we need to negotiate with the Chinese, we're now creating a dependency on them that otherwise wouldn't be there if it weren't for the war in Iran.
Did any part of you think, after 47 years, and as you said, you're very familiar with what happened with Iraq, and that, I could see how you'd be swayed one way because of your experience, but then in another way with the potential of an Arab Spring, whatever you want to call it, a new Middle East that includes Israel and includes, even includes a free Iran someday.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your mind that says that this might have been a worthy pursuit?
So, look, as someone who served 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military, I have no love lost for the Iranian government. They have been a bad actor my entire life. And in places like Iraq, they killed friends of mine through their Iranian-backed militias. So I've seen their terrorism. I've seen the nuclear threat that they constantly kind of put out there, their ballistic missile threat. That's real. But I also, because of my time in Iraq, know that it's easier to get into a war than it is to get out. And I think, there's a reason. I'm a Middle East specialist, and you learn in Middle East 101 that the Iranians have strategic geography. They've got a very narrow Strait of Hormuz, and they've got mountains pointing down at it and islands that give them opportunities to hold a superpower like us at risk. And we're seeing that play out. So it's not that I have any love for these guys, and it's not that they haven't killed their own people who are just trying to have some modicum of freedom, but we do have an obligation, as someone who's been at the Pentagon, to explain to the American people how the juice is worth the squeeze, particularly when they're feeling this in their pocketbooks every single day. So it's a hard distinction to make. Of course, I would love to see a different government in Iran, but I also don't think that the United States and the average taxpayer should be paying like this for potentially the next year for something that just didn't have the right amount of planning.
Senator, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.